I've been fishing these lures and kind of keeping them myself for years, and this one has always been sort of a particular favorite of mine. I have to confess, as a little kid, I was sort of a frog torturer, and my best way that I ever found to catch bass was to take a weedless hook through the nose of a frog. And no, I'm not Jeffrey Dahmer, but I used to have to cut their front legs off because they put their legs like this, you know, in front of and screw things up. And then I'd take a little straw, like from grass, a little piece of grass, and then you kind of thread it up their rear end and go, and I'd blow them full of air so they couldn't get down, and then pitch them into the slop. And to drive the bass, absolutely crazy, but it's probably not a realistic way for everybody to fish. So I was challenged, how do I make a real frog? I mean a frog that doesn't just look like a frog, but a frog that swims like a frog, acts like a frog. Frogs do two things when they want to get away. They skip across the surface and try to get up on land so they don't get eaten, or they dive down to the bottom and bury themselves in the mud. This diving frog sits at the right attitude, so you could throw it on top of slop and come over slop just like all the frogs that you use today. But when a fish blows up on it, you don't need to reach for a jig and try to catch him. This has got the same kind of attracting power, maybe more, because it'll make a bubble chain when you pull it with this diving collar. But what you can do is stop it in a hole, give it a couple of jerks, and if you look at the video, you'll see how it swims. The other thing you can do with it, this wants to dive about 30 inches. If you just keep stroking it, it'll get down about 30 inches. If you're fishing in 30 inches of water, that's great. Stroke it down, let it hit the bottom, and keep pulling on it and sort of jerk it and shake it. Kicks up mud and makes the bass believe that it's a frog trying to get away with escape mechanism number 2. The other thing that you can do, let's say it's 6 feet deep. This wants to be 30 inches or so deeper than your rod tip. We're holding the boat in 6 feet of water and pitching up on a slop that's, say, 4 feet deep with a mat. I get it over the mat, and now I'm swimming it through, let's say, some broadleaf vegetation. I can make lots of disturbance on the surface, maybe draw them up, but if that doesn't work, I can put my tip, if I got it like a 7.5 foot rod, I'll put my tip down, stroke, 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 and I can make that thing hit bottom at 6 or 7 feet of water. Just give it a really hard shake, it's digging up mud, boom, you feel the bite. When the fish jumps, it's going to be spitting moss out of his gills. This thing is lethal.